You get an okay start, you get down into the turn, and to me, the way I was picturing it in my mind, he was trying to not waste time. So he tried to get a couple guys back going in, and I think he forgot that they were on framers and he was on.
They weren't on framers.
Sorry, that he was on a framer and they were on DTX bikes, and so they had to stop because they don't have the traction he had, and they stopped. And I didn't think he thought they needed to stop yet, and just freaking ran right into the back of him. And
welcome to Flat Track Factory on field trip with friend of the channel, Dale. Thanks for having me.
How are you today?
I'm good. I always love coming up here. So
are you still upset over the scratches?
Yes.
I don't blame you.
Yeah.
Especially the new paint.
Yeah. The paint had practice and one heat on it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. What'd you think about that? Did you
about
watch?
7 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Total.
No, I don't think it's 7 minutes. Maybe about 4.
Yeah.
What'd you think about? Did you watch us?
Yeah. Yeah. We, you know, when you go pro racing, right? Everybody's super serious and everybody's in motion and everybody's super focused, and you hardly talk to the riders, right? Because it's pro racing. They just hyper focused on what they're doing, and they have ADD to the max. So it's hard to talk to anyways. But the other night was cool because we were local racing, right?
Sort of.
But a bunch of the pros came. Yeah. So because they weren't pro racing, you can actually go talk to them and actually talk to them, right? And so it was cool. I talked to Sammy for a little while, which when he's so busy doing stuff, you don't have time to talk to him, right? Yeah. Talk to him, talk to some of the Honda guys.
Turner Flat Track.
Yeah, went and looked at their bikes, went and looked at that new Honda Twin.
Yeah.
That was cool. So it was a super event, right, that they had.
Chad Coase, he's from California, and Billy
Lowe
Ross
was there.
Both Lowe's, both Lowe brothers were there.
Yeah. So so that was really cool, and I got that sheet and grit on my face because it went just the way I thought it was going to go, which was my son was there, but we haven't ridden in a year and a half because we started car racing. So, and it was a super slippery, getting worse as the night wore on racetrack. So
Mid-Carolina Speedway, sandy clay, paperclip, real quarter mile. Actually, it's a little bit more than a quarter mile.
Yeah, but it was fast.
Yeah.
But it's super. Everybody was head bobbing and losing the front end and then losing the back and foot up in the air. And I mean, everybody was struggling for traction. So it was fun when we watched the practice that Sammy basically just drove right by the guys like he should have on that Rotax. And then it was a shame when you guys got to the heat race that he got an okay start, but then
we won the first heat. It's the second.
Yeah, the second heat. Yeah. Sorry, and then you get an okay start. You get down into the turn, and to me, the way I was picturing it in my mind, he was trying to not waste time. So he tried to get a couple guys back going in, and I think he forgot that they were on framers and he was on.
They weren't on framers.
Sorry. That he was on a framer and they were on DTX bikes, and so they had to stop because they don't have the traction he had, and they stopped. And I didn't think he thought they needed to stop yet, and just freaking ran right into the back of him in slow motion, high side over the guy's rear wheel, and bent the pipe, bent the throttle, scratched the brand new tail section you just put on. Right, he hit his head, so I'm sure he was laid there for a minute. He seemed like when he got up, he was probably going to take the night off, which ended up happening, right? Super
disappointing, everybody, I mean, ifs, buts, candies, nuts, it's easy to tell the story now, but I mean, tell them, what do you think? I think we were the guys to beat.
So you're a motorcycle, right? Which is a purpose-built bike, even though it's 20 years old, 30 years old, it's still purpose-built. So you're trying to take a DTX bike, which was motocross bike, wasn't made to do any of this, and there's hardly any adjustment in it, right? It just will not, no matter what you do to them, has that initial 5 feet of traction that you guys have. You guys have traction. The second you crack the throttle, it spins the rear wheel too much. Until then, it has traction. Those guys spin the rear wheel, get it to finally have traction, ride that for a little bit, and then it spins the rear wheel too much and they lose traction again. So that first 5 feet, you guys just annihilate them, right? And it was fun to watch. And for anybody that knows Rotaxes, the noise that they make, just that down the straightaway is, like a tractor trailer's coming, and that's exactly what it's like. It just grunts off the turn like a tractor trailer would, right? It's a blast to watch. And for those that don't know, Sammy Halbert is one of the best riders in the USA. He's in semi-retirement at the ripe old age of 30, but he's still in semi-retirement. So he picks and chooses where he wants to race, but he likes the local stuff and he loves riding the Rotax, right?
Yeah. I think he does.
And I want to clarify, we don't keep saying Rotax because he is, but I'm not 1,000% in love with him. We keep on saying Rotax because they're the only ones that do what they do, which is make huge torque. They're fast enough to have a ton of power, but low ranged enough in the way it fires and the way it all works that you can get it to the ground.
Yeah, it's super like almost an electric bike flat torque curve for a single single cylinder motorcycle.
So when you watch the thing run, it'll do things other bikes won't. And if you watch the right guy on it, you on it,
thank you,
Sammy Hal on it, if you watch the right guy on it, it's just Davey Durrell. I mean, I'm still in awe over that race, right?
Yeah.
It just, when you watch them feed up doing stuff, it's just mind-boggling what they can do on top of the thing, right?
Yeah, it's a fun motorcycle, and they're really the only true vintage bike. I think it's a true vintage bike now that can still win an unlimited race against anything out there.
Right. I agree. I agree.
And we make the joke that it's 20, 30 years old, but it's really not. We constantly develop it.
So. But it's 30 years old, right? No matter how you cut it, it's 30 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
All that's left, I think, is the valve covers and some transmission shafts. Right. Everything else has eventually been cycled out.
Right.
But anyway, that was just a quick little breakdown. I got a full race report with Sammy, 20 minutes. We'll talk about it all. But we just wanted, Dale's there, and he's one of the greatest observers of all forms of racing. So I want to start out with that. Anything else you want to say about that?
Does he remember it?
Yeah, he does.
So he didn't hit his head too hard.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, he crashes, and he breaks his neck, and we didn't know that yet. In 20 minutes, we get him back to the pits. We pull out a chair, sit him in the chair. And he says, "Hey, what happened?" And I'm like, "Oh, one of the guys didn't shut off. He ripped the handlebar out of your hand and you just instantly face planted and you hit your head." "Oh, well, that's probably why I got a headache." So we're loading his box fan up. 20 minutes later, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "Oh, one of the guys went by you, ripped the handlebar out of your hand. You instantly face planted." "Oh, I do have a headache." 40 minutes later, "Hey, what happened?" I'm like, "Okay, I had to get somebody else." He's obviously not driving home, right? We had to take him home.
Time to go to the hospital.
Yeah, so it was bad. So Sammy got out of it easy if he remembers it.
Yeah, I think maybe he was a little more frustrated and playing it up. We'll see.
Yeah,
because at first he said he was done racing, but then by the time we got home, I dropped him off. He was like, "We're already talking about doing the spring race." So,
yeah,
so we'll see.
He can't quit. He's too young.
He's too fast.
And he still has brain cells.
Yeah, at least I think he's trying to kill someone on a regular basis.
Yeah, he's doing it then. But they're still there, so we got to get rid of him.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you in the next one.